Thank you. Thanks for letting me come on, even though I came in late. Thanks for everybody being here. This is a big crowd. It's been a while since I was here, but I think there was like 5 guys last time I was here. So I appreciate you guys coming out. All right. I have a problem. I really like characters. Like people that are characters. They're just doing their thing very hard. And oftentimes they're doing that because they like lost some marbles, you know. This almost never happens, but I was talking to a porn star. I was looking her like deeply in the eye, like probably this far apart, and she looked me in the eye deeply and she said, "I have Asperger's." She was like, "Do you know what that means?" I said, "I'd love to hear it from you." She said, "I speak Russian." I don't think that's what Asperger's means. Does anyone sure that's not what Asperger's means? So I went to Hawaii after that. I go to Hawaii a lot. I'll find a cheap ticket. I'm good at finding a cheap ticket and then camp out or whatever. You know, it's if you know what you're doing, it's not so expensive. And I just kind of I waited for the characters to come out. You have people that are kind of disconnected from society. You know, it's very entertaining. They're just there. If you wait long enough, you know, if you stand still, they can't see you. They might pop out of a bush. You know, say something that you might hear late at night on like Instagram. You know, you're just kind of like waiting there, and then they pop out of the bush, and they're like, "The government's all a lie." It's very entertaining. But I was just eating shea butter, and I saw this woman who looked like Keith Richards with a white parakeet on her shoulder. I was like, "That's cool," and I was staring at her, and I failed to notice this Brazilian lady who came up, and I was wearing these shorts, and she said, "Are you Australian?" I said, "No, but it's a hell of an icebreaker, isn't it?" And she was like, "I think you're cute. Help me carry my bag of home goods, secondhand home goods, home." Like it's never happened that quickly. And in record time, I was kissing this lady, and she said, "Don't freak out, my husband just came home." But he's cool, you should talk to him. And he was cool, but he didn't like jazz. So at her request, I took her to a jazz restaurant. When we got to the restaurant, she sat down, she ordered a double margarita and a burger she never ate, and then got up and started dancing at a place where it's like, there's music, but it's not for dancing, you know. She's going around to like the tables, like, "Hey, like, how you doing?" You know, just talk like this. It's not for that. It's not that kind of a setting. "What are you doing?" And then she was like, "That's my husband." I was like, "Fine, yep. That's my wife." But now that I've admitted to that, like, how do you deal with that situation? You know, she's getting out of hand. She's like disrupting the whole restaurant. But I was like, that's my wife. And she very masterfully and strategically wound up this waiter who was a little busy, but I mean, she like really got on his nerves in a way that she was doing it, being very polite and smiling, but still like getting like right like inside of that dude and like irritating him. And it just got to the point where he was like, "You know what? Fuck you, lady!" Like the guy who works there, he's a waiter at like a high class place. And she's like, "No, fuck you!" And he's like, "Where are you from?" She's like, "Brazil." He's like, "The zoo?" She said, "Brazil." He said, "The zoo?" She said, "Brazil." He said, "That's right, the zoo." That's what I said. So she gave that burger she never ate to a homeless person. Am I at 3 or 5?
You're at 4.
4. She gave the burger to a homeless person, and the next day we were going out for coffee. You ever, wanted to shout but you didn't, like, "Stop rubbing my face with pussy juice hand." That's a necessary comment. And the next day we went to go get coffee. She shouted something obscene at a golf course that we were passing. And she was talking to the people, like at the tables again, like, "Hi, young family. I see that you have 2 toddlers. I'm Gigi. I'm from Brazil. I have a skincare line. Would you like to see my products?" But I learned a lot about marketing that way. And she was like, "He's a comedian. Tell him something." I was like, "I got a story. Are you sure you want to hear it?" And she was like, "Yeah, tell him. I was like, "Well, actually, I just came up with it. I met this Brazilian lady